Dear Divine Souls, hearty welcome to the first episode of the Kriyayoga podcast series. This series of podcasts aim to introduce the listeners to the most ancient science and practice called Kriyayoga. In this episode, you will be listening to a very simple explanation of Kriyayoga. A more detailed analysis of this subject will be presented before you through forthcoming episodes. Before winding up this episode, I will answer a most important question. To reach the soul or God, there are so many religions, paths, or traditions. Then, why is Kriya Yoga considered the most important among them? The answer to this question will be provided at the last of this episode. Friends, now let's move on to the subject. Kriya Yoga is a complete and scientific spiritual practice or sadhana methodology. The full development of a human soul is the aim of Kriya Yoga. This science, which was conceived and practiced by the sages of ancient India, has been named differently by various great men who incarnated at different times. Raja Yoga, Vashi Yoga, Hamsa Yoga, Brahma Vidya, etc. are the various names given to this practical science. In modern times, it was deathless master Mahaguru Sri Sri Mahavadar Babaji who revived this sacred science which has been lost in the onslaught of time due to man's ignorance. While reviving this scientific yoga knowledge by initiating his beloved disciple Lahiri Mahashaya, Babaji gave it the simple name Kriya Yoga. While imparting Kriya Yoga to Lahiri Mahashaya, the deathless Mahaguru said, "Lahiri, the science that I revived through you in this 19th century is the same science that Lord Krishna had imparted to Arjuna eons back. Also, it is the same science that Jesus Christ and his disciples practiced. The sages of ancient India and the prophets who incarnated at different times, like Patanjali, Kabir, Shankaracharya, practiced this technique or Vidya, attained emancipation, and transferred it to their disciples. The tradition of Kriya Yoga has a lineage of deathless masters. I will tell you about these great men in another episode. The technique that Kriya Yogis use in their yoga practice or sadhana is simply known as Kriya. The word Kriya implies an action, but the action called Kriya is not an ordinary action or an activity that we generally do. It is a peculiar action. The dedicated practice of this specific action called Kriya liberates in time the practitioner or sadhaka from his slavery towards the laws of nature, dissolves him in God, and makes him eternally liberated. Kriya is a pranayama or life energy control technique. Prana or life energy is the divine energy that sustains the body. Prana or life energy is everywhere. When it becomes the cause of life in a body, it is called life energy. Pranayama called Kriya is a subtle technique to control life energy present in the body. A yogi is a person who is capable of controlling life energy. The yogi who has accomplished life energy control can connect with the higher realms of consciousness. That is, with the help of life energy control technique of Kriya Yoga, the yogi raises his mind and consciousness to higher realms and realizes his true form as immortal soul. So, Kriya Yoga is a simple means to bring life energy under one's control. Kriya is a peculiar pranayama that is performed in the human body with the help of breath, mind, and life energy. So, it is prana karma or prana action, a peculiar action performed in the body consciously using prana or life energy is Kriya. With continuous practice of prana action or Kriya, the subtle seeds of karmic depths that remain dormant in a sadhaka's body get destroyed. Thus the astral centers or chakras that lie in the subtle body, which are the storehouse of the subtle seeds of karma and responsible for innumerable and unavoidable births of a soul, get purified, activated, or awakened. As a result, the sadhaka begins to experience the subtle nature which is the background of this visible universe or that maintains the universe. He experiences this subtle nature as ethereal sound vibration heard initially in his meditation and all the time later onward. It is through the dedicated practice of Kriya and the grace of one's Guru that the experiences of these heavenly sounds manifest in the body of the sadhaka. Initially, the yogi hears various supernal sounds in his body only. Later, he begins to perceive all the celestial sounds of the cosmos as reverberating in his body. This cosmic symphony is called Omkar. A highly developed yogi experiences the sound of Omkar inside and outside his body. Thus, the yogi, by one-pointedly listening to the sound of Omkar and merging in it, gradually reaches the realization of that truth, that is, himself and the universe is nothing but God only. My dear brothers and sisters, now let me address the question that was raised at the beginning of the episode. Even though there are many paths, what makes Kriya Yoga significant? I shall wind up this episode after answering the question. Kriya Yoga is the proper and authoritative spiritual science. A Kriya Yogi, through his practice, traverses all the various progressive states of self-realization to reach the ultimate. Whatever religion, theory or yoga practice you may follow, one day all paths and all religions will have to reach a one single pathway to God. That single pathway is the spinal path or the Sushumna channel in the human body. The Sushumna channel that lies inside the backbone is the single pathway or the royal highway to God. No one can reach God except through this royal path. Even from the beginning of his spiritual journey, the Kriya Yogi tries to enter into this royal path. By the dedicated practice of the supernal technique of Kriya and with steady faith and devotion to God and Guru, this royal path gets awakened quickly in a Kriya Yogi. The movement of Jiva Chaitanya or life energy through it becomes smooth, and hence the life energy comes under his full control easily. Not pursuing the lower paths and wasting time, a Kriya Yogi, even from the beginning, enters the direct route or the shortest way. This is why Gurudev Parahamsa Yogananda describes Kriya Yoga as an airplane route to God. It means there is no other path quicker than this. That is what keeps Kriya Yoga significant at all times. What I have described so far is a very small picture of the great science of Kriya Yoga. More information about Kriya Yoga can be learned through forthcoming episodes. I request you to give your valuable feedback in the comment section. If you find this podcast useful, please don't forget to like and share this podcast and subscribe to this channel. Wishing you happiness and prosperity all the time. Pranams.